smile. Yes, we're still in the Sabbath hours, but you can smile and feel a little relaxed. Look at Sister Donna smile. She didn't even know she was smiling for me just now. Yes, so just a little giveaway we like to do right now. Okay? Is this anyone's first time, very first time in Hillview Sanctuary? Oh, yes. Let's give her a round of applause. And if you can just stand and say your name. I ain't gonna let you do too much talking. I shy too. Sister Shelley Moss. Okay. And here at Hillview and right now for Women's Ministry, we're gonna talk back to Sister Shelley. So we're gonna say, hi, Sister Shelley. Hi, Sister Shelley. And please come back again. Yes, ma'am. And we have a little token just for you for your very first time here in the sanctuary. And then we would like to also offer the first person who came here today. And it's going to be non-Adventist. Non-Adventist. Okay. So, she stand up so fast, he ain't giving me a chance, man. So we can have the first person who showed up before time. Come on, you can stand now. Before time. Well, sorry, Sister Sam, we have two sets. So there are two ladies here. They showed up before time, and Sister Sam is also from our Hillview Church, who showed up on time. Yes, ma'am. And please come back again. We are always welcome. This church here has many doors. We will push the door open for you. Our deacon comes in very early in the morning, and even down to Brother Terrence come early Sabbath morning, and he will let you inside the church to come in time. I had to whisper that because he's always here in time for Sabbath school, so please come back again. And then, is anybody, now we here, we are women. I just scrolled making sure only women are in here. We are women. Anybody having experience right now, the menopause experience, right now. We have our sister down in the back there. Stand all at one. This is menopause and aging we have here. Every one of us, if we're not going through it right now, it's coming. If the Lord, the little boy told me, if the Lord delays his coming and he shall live, it's coming. Okay? So that's the little gift that we have going on right now. So here at Hillview, I got to walk and talk, and guess what? I like people to talk back to me. So if you all don't know my name is Fabia. Fabia with an F, not a PH. And if you would like to write a check to me, my name is Octavia. That's the legal name. Starts with an O. Okay? So I want to welcome you all to Hillview today and many other days that you come. So we're talking about menopause and all of the good stuff that happens with menopause. And from way back then, way back, far, long time ago, we had problems. Y'all remember the story with the woman, the issue of blood? That was a problem. That was a problem because, we can't even pull 5 days. Everything hurts on us. Our head hurt, our teeth hurt, we sweat. Don't say nothing to me. All of these things that we go through. So you can imagine that woman back then. Boy, that was a time. And guess what? She tried everything. Everything. She been everywhere. She been to doctor this, doctor that, doctor the next thing, the bush woman, the this doctor, the that doctor, the herbal woman. You know, all of these things, but she tried it, didn't work. And guess what she had to do? She tried Jesus. And I tell y'all, I'd like for y'all to talk back to me. Tell me what she do. Yes, she tried Jesus. All she did was what? That's all she did. She done? Touched the hand. And she was made whole. And he knew who touched her. So now we here. I want you all to relax and know, hey, we here at Hillview. We ain't discriminating. Nothing like that. We here. We here. So a few weeks ago, we did a little introduction about this menopause thing. And right now, I'm sweating. Right? I don't really give my age. And I'm approaching 50. I approaching 50, yeah. I get a bunch of children, and I approaching 50, and I sweating. And I can't believe this church is cold sometimes, and then it feels hot. These are the things that goes on with us. And, you know, 1 minute we hot. Then next minute we cold. And I'm so thankful for the person who made that little portable fan where we can put it around on there. Or the little girls do like this to fix their face, their makeup on their face. They're doing this all day. I like that. It cools you down a bit. All kind of things happen. I ain't lose the hair yet. The thing what Jay was talking about, oh, you can lose some hair. In the back there was just eating out here and there because I wasn't taking care of myself. And a lot of us go through that. We lose our hair, it thinnens out, and all kind of stuff like that. I don't know sometimes if I'm going through it or anybody else going through it. So, you know, I get depressed sometimes, and I just want to crawl up in my bed. No. I ain't coming to church this Sabbath. And then my son, JJ, I have to go to church. What time are you getting ready for church? You know, you yuck up yourself because the little boy only 19, and if he say he won't go to church, what I have to do? I just want to lay down. I just don't want to be bothered. I just don't want to look at nobody. I just don't want to tell nobody, Happy Sabbath. I ain't into all of that. Nah, I ain't for that. Then you put on this dress. Oh, please help me. Help me, dear God, help me. I just had on this dress, the dress on rotation. I wear this 4 Sabbaths ago. I was a size 6. Go on the scale that morning. What time it is? It's like 7 o'clock. Prayer meeting going on, and you're right there. Take off your shoe because you got to make sure. It's early in the morning. I ain't drinking water. I only use the bathroom. You put 1 foot on. The number, down the number. You put 2. You come back a little. You come back. Tiptoe. I gain weight. What is this going on with me? What is this? Is this menopause again? I can't believe it. I'm gaining weight. The dress can't fit, so you have to put on something. Then the member of the church will say, you a child? Look at me. I get hold 3 big children, and then the 19-year-old, what I gonna do with this little baby who coming around me? Mommy? No, you can call me auntie. That's too much. All these things going on, and then I have sometimes memory loss. So I go pick up the phone. Sister DaVincia sent me something, and I said, let me go answer Sister DaVincia. Tell me why I on TikTok. In focus, not one, but tell me why I am not focused. Every time I go there, you go answer somebody. Let me tell you the truth. Was supposed to send Sister Monica a message from I don't know how long to say, I want you to pray for me. Once it gone through, I say, okay, tell me how it's supposed to go. She must be turned off her phone because, you know, the private time, family time. She's a teacher. She don't want nobody on calling her all through the time. Oh, she changed her number. I say, okay. 6 o'clock, you think she can answer me? 6 o'clock in the morning. Send a message. My heart beating, please don't let me know. Yes, baby, that's not a problem. I said, oh, look at God. I get so emotional, I start to cry at 6 o'clock in the morning because she told me yes. all kind of different feelings going on. And then, the air conditioning in the room ain't working. I'll say it again. Yes, Sister Monica, I like when you talk back to me. The air conditioning ain't working. So 1 minute you're hot. The last go in the ceiling fan working. Okay, next minute you're cold, you put your blanket back on you. Then you take 1 foot out. Then you pull it back in. You take it back out. You think we doing the hokey pokey 3 o'clock in the morning? And you turn yourself around? Tell me what all going on with me. Tell me what all going on with me. And then the children turn around and say something to me. Mommy, I said, come on, stop calling my name like that. What you calling my name for? Mommy, I just calling you to get your attention. You know, it's so much different things that mommy sound like something is going on. So my heart is beating fast and fast. And then I don't like certain people call me certain times of the day. Please don't call me because that's not your time. Your timing is not it. Please don't call me. So I have a brother who don't call that often. If he calls 12 o'clock, when the phone ring, dear Jesus, whatever he about to tell me, let it be good words there, Lord. Hey, Fabe, you check that joke what Sophie said? Oh, that's what you calling me for? And you know, all of these different feelings I have in and stuff like that. I can't believe all of this telling me, hey, I going through it. I going through it. And then I want to know, are you going through it? I am not alone. Like right now, I could feel that cool breeze over my shoulder, and I just was hot, so that's why I take off the sweater, and now I call again. Tell me, do we need a little hug here and there? How can we make it? So right now, I would like to say welcome to Hillview. I would like for you to be yourself, and there's a phone thing. So not all the time, all of us have data and stuff like that. So I just want you, there ain't no activity or nothing like that. But as Sister Patrice speak, I want you to write it down. Think about all the things you want to say to her. Just type in your phone, put in my name, because I ain't got no data. Fabia, I ain't got no data. Start typing out your questions and stuff like that. And say what you want to say to her. Like, when is this going to stop? At what early age this is going to happen? I just want to know what this is all about. And all these other things. So tell me, so talk about age. Do we have, who's the youngest person in here? I'm looking in the middle line. I am talking about, let's go for 35. Any 35-year-olds? 36, 37, 40. She don't qualify. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. 41. Y'all don't want to talk y'all age? 42. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for coming to listen to our conversation, because it just don't start sometimes, I heard, at that number, the big numbers. It sometimes starts at the little numbers, and we don't know where we're coming from. Oh, you say, this hereditary. My mommy always is be hard. Ain't always true all the time. So I would like to offer my sister Roll a gift down in the back there, if you don't mind. No. Yes. And you can offer that to Sister Roll. Sister Roll, I would like to say, please come again to Hillview. I would like to welcome each and every one of you all to Hillview, and come again. Thank you.
The fabulous Fabia. Nobody does it like Fabia, right? Well, I too would like to add my welcome to all of you. We are so excited to be hosting this event at Hillview. I've been telling my people that we are bursting from the seams. That's how excited we are. I don't believe that you are here by chance. When we made this call to have this session, we said, a few of us got together, and we said, we can have a girls' night. We were just expecting maybe 25 people, because we say, women probably don't want to talk about no menopause. We reached out to beautiful Patrice, and we invited her to Sister Nadine's residence, and we said, we just can hang. We can invite a few people, and we can hang out. And somebody said, Davincia, every time I turn around in church, somebody talking about menopause. Every time you look in the audience, someone fanning. Every time you turn around, somebody complaining about losing weight. Putting on weight. Your pants fit you last week. Then you go and you get the pants, they ain't fit you, and you're wondering what's happening. I take maybe 45 minutes to get ready for church. Because I can't find nothing to wear that fit properly, So we knew we had to have the conversation. So somebody said, you know what? There may be other persons who want to be involved in this conversation. Why don't you do a poll? So we decided to do a Google form and do a registration. And the numbers kept going up and up and up and up. And then we said, we can't handle these numbers. Let's close registration. So we shut it down. So the phone started ringing. What is going on? I can't get in the form. The form closed. And you know what? I said, we prepared maybe for 40 people, and we were up to 130 in 2 weeks. So we decided to activate our YouTube channel. So there are persons watching on YouTube, and you are here. And this is no mistake that you're here. We got the best to present to you today. The very best. Okay? And what I like about this is that we are like-minded, man. You're my sister. You're my sister. I don't know all of your names. I know many of your faces, but guess what? Guess what is bonding us today? Womanopause. Yeah, so we could identify, and it just feels good to know that I am not alone. Because sometimes you feel like you're suffering in this thing all by yourself. We are not alone. I am Davincia Raming, the original Davincia Raming, by the way. So I'm Davincia Raming, and it is my pleasure to represent the wonderful ladies of the Hillview Church. I am a proud women's ministries leader at the Hillview Church. I love my people. These women are the most supportive women. I've been in ministry for a long time, from I was a teenager. These women are the most supportive women that I have met. You are a blessing to my life, Hillview. I love you guys. Those of you who are not members of Hillview, we welcome you. Welcome you with open arms. I know sometimes it seems as if Hillview is cold, right? Hillview ain't cold. We have plenty love. We have big love to give to all of you, and we're happy that you've decided to come and share this time with us. Thank you very much. We are going to keep the program tight. We are going to give Patrice as much time as she needs to be able to speak with you tonight. There's just one thing that I need to do. So the Women's Ministries team has always partnered. We always thought that women's health was important. At the beginning of the year, we did the Daniel Fast, which was a hit, right? And we like to lead various programs that enriches our women's lives, whether that is spiritually, mentally, what else? Emotionally, physically. And what we do a lot is we partner with our health ministries department. So Sister Charlene is here, and I'm just going to ask her to say just a few words. Just greet the crowd, Sister Charlene, for us, please.
Yes, Patrice is my family, and I found that out, a couple of weeks ago? That's right, that's right. Good evening, dear sisters in Christ. It is an honor to welcome Sister Patrice Locker to our gathering tonight. She is here to share her expertise on nurturing our bodies through life's various stages. And I'm confident we'll all benefit from her wisdom. Tonight's event is a testament of God's divine design. Our church health ministry aims to promote holistic well-being through education, outreach, and community service. We strive to empower individuals to adopt healthy lifestyle, caring for their physical, mental, and spiritual needs. The Adventist health message is an integral part of our gospel proclamation, highlighting the importance of respecting God's design for our bodies. Tonight, in collaboration with the Women Ministry, we are excited to learn from Sister Patrice's insights. Let's be attentive and take away valuable lessons to enrich our lives. Let's enjoy this presentation and give glory to God for bringing us together. Thank you, and may God bless our time together.
Thank you. Let's give a hand to the fabulous Sister Charlene, who is so supportive to me in ministry as well. Okay, so there are just a few announcements that I want to make. So, like I said, when we had originally planned this event, we had planned it as a social event. So even though we moved now into church to be able to accommodate the persons that are coming, we have decided to still keep that social component. So we have food that has been prepared for you. We have soups. We have fever grass tea. We have been coached by Sister Patrice. So we're feeding you the menopause-friendly meal tonight. So your fever grass tea ain't got no sugar and ain't got no cream. So we're feeding you the good stuff. We have some good food for you. We have food boxes that will be prepared. Like I said, we have soup and we have water. So please ensure that you get something tonight before you leave, okay? Before I move on, okay, so let me just do this. So, like I said, there are many of us in church as women who identify with this menopause thing. And I have a very good friend who's been going through and educating me really on many things that has been happening that she's been experiencing personally. So I said, you know what? I think I'm going to ask her to just take a few minutes and share her story with us. So Sister Nadine, please join me as you come and share with these lovely women, and I'm sure many persons will be able to identify with you. Sister Nadine Sawyer, everybody.
Ladies, how is everyone? Isn't it menopausal? It is so cool and comfortable in here. I am cool and comfortable for the moment. And it's so good to see all of you out. This is an important topic. As my good friend said, I have been going through it for a year and a half. And it's been a struggle. The symptoms are numerous. And the thing about it is it's so, like there's such a long laundry list. I might be dealing with 10 items. You might be dealing with 20. You might be dealing with 3. But when you're dealing with these symptoms, they all make you feel uncomfortable. Doesn't make you feel like yourself. And that's the struggle. So Fabian said a lot of, she already kind of gave the testimony. But basically I was having the same struggles. Insomnia was a huge issue. Can't sleep. Hot flashes, well, we know about that. I used to come with my little pink fan. Now I have a black fan, and now I have a different fan. Just because it would just come on me. Brain fog, we don't talk about that. Anyone get any brain fog? You're talking mid-sentence and like, what was I saying? Right? And then for the life of you can't remember what you were trying to say. So the brain fog was real. One of my biggest issues is the joint pain. I thought I was just, getting a little aged. But I came to realize that it's part of it. My knees are constantly hurting, my back, but it's really the plantar fasciitis. Sometimes I had that growing up in the last couple years, but the last couple years it was horrible. I'm at Dr. Mitchell now, the podiatrist, our Seventh-day Adventist podiatrist, because I'm in so much pain. But that was a real big struggle. The moodiness challenge. Sister Sork could be a little moody, but she was a little extra spicy, apparently. And one of the things us as married women, we may not talk about, but it's a real issue in our marriages when this time is the low libido. I could talk it, don't worry about it. Low libido and the lack of self-lubrication. Okay, I'm not afraid to say it. It's real. And as a married woman of 27 years, that is a real problem. So those are the things that I was fighting with, trying to figure out how am I going to fix this, what I'm going to do. You go on Instagram, you see all these different reels, and someone says, do this, someone do that. Thank you. But I will have to say, after a year and a half of dealing with that, I finally, and Sister Patrice, you could tell, and what I did may not be what some other people might need to do. I decided to go on the HRT. Okay. So that is hormone replacement therapy. I'm not here to promote it. I'm here to say that's what worked for me. Okay? Every one of us are going to have to figure out what works for you to get you through that time. Okay? But that's what worked for me. I went to my gynecologist and said, I think I'm done. I'm tired. And she said, here you go. We know there's some more safe options out here. We can get it now on the island, and that's what I've done. I've seen some improvements, what I appreciate. And it's all about just getting back to who you were. So I asked Chris today, I said, Chris, do you see any difference? It's been a couple months. Well, you're not as spicy. I said, well, that's good. I said, anything else? Well, I don't have to run around the house after you when it's time to do what we need to do. I said, yeah, you seem a little bit more approachable. I said, okay. We'll keep going with this mode of therapy for now. So, but I just want to say that this is it's a health challenge that we all have to go through. We're all going to have different paths, but continue to encourage each other in it. And don't think that you're alone. Thank you very much. I'm trying. But don't think that you're alone. And I think that I want to thank Da Vinci especially for doing this timely presentation with Patrice, because I think we all need to hear about it. I have friends in Toronto who are listening right now. Hey, girl, I hope this is for you, because we're all struggling with it. We just need the information, so eager to hear it. So welcome.
Thank you, the fabulous Nadine. Thank you, Nadine. Are we ready? Okay, so we're not quite ready, and Patrice needs her electronics, her computer to be able to present. So let me give you my little testimony on this menopause thing, which I can't stand. Okay, so I'm very active. So I'm in the gym 5 days a week, and I'm running 5 days a week, and I'm good. I was good. So I went on vacation, but my son is after school. So when he comes home, it's a party every day. Every day is a party. I don't eat Wendy's, I don't eat fast food, and I don't do that stuff. But when he come home, listen to me. We used to be killing it. Ramushak. So this summer when he came home, I went crazy. I was eating everything, not exercising, just having a really good time and feeling good. I felt good that I was letting my hair down and just doing what I want to do, because I'm normally so meticulous. You watch what you eat. You get up a certain time. You don't go to bed a certain time. You wait, because in order to manage my whole symptoms, I need to be on a routine. And I came off it. Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how bad I felt. My brain fog is a joke. I felt like I was actually going crazy. Couldn't get out of bed, body aches, couldn't focus. Nadine talked about your relationship with your partner. I don't want nobody to, I don't want, just don't want to be bothered. Just a complete mess. And even though with all that I know, I never thought it was menopause, I started to think all kind of things. Started to think I'm going through depression, starting to think cancer, because we have a cancer in our house. I mean, my husband had cancer, so I'm always conscious of that. Started to think diabetes. I had one wound that wouldn't heal for days. They say diabetes, and I just was freaking right out, just messing with my mind, not remembering. I'm sitting at my desk, and for hours I'm just staring at the screen and not doing anything. Just staring at the screen, and I had lost who I was. I just didn't recognize myself. And I don't know what happened. The Holy Spirit. I didn't want to go to the doctors because I don't want no medication, and I don't want nobody talking stuff that I know better. You know better. Adventists know better. We have this health message, ladies. We have this health message. We're not promoting it, and we're not following it. And it came to me that I just needed to just cut out all of that stuff. So I cleaned up my diet. I got back on the road. I started exercising. Oh, and I don't know if I've ever felt hot flashes like I felt this summer. I didn't have any of that stuff. Oh my gosh. And I said, I can't believe my aunts and because nobody talks about it. I think that this generation is just starting to talk about menopause. Nobody talks about it. So I can't believe that my aunt or my sisters went through this. All of this stuff that we're having to deal with now. So I'm just so happy to be able to have a community of women to be able to talk this stuff through. So for me, what I did is I didn't do any medications because I was determined that I didn't want that. And like Nadine said, it's your choice, whatever works for you. I just cleaned up my diet. I just took out the sugar. I took out the fried foods. Definitely no more fast food. I started going to bed and getting enough sleep. I went 9:30, got up at a decent hour, and I started to meditate more, and I started to talk to God more. And I got to know myself all over again. Just simple things. Some things work for some people, and some simple things work for others. So many times when I talk to people, I just say, just examine what you're doing. What you doing? What you doing? And being in the Adventist church is especially a plus because we know the health message. And the information is just always there for us. And many times, I'm going to tell you, many times, it's that food that you're putting in your mouth. Right? So I could just sit down right now, hey, we could just, food. It's the food that we're putting in our mouth. And that's why we have menopause-friendly food tonight, right? Okay, so we ready? Not ready? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to begin. We're going to begin without the on-screen information because we're running out of time and we want to get Patrice up to do her presentation. So we're going to begin and then we'll work with the communications team, who's always doing an excellent job. Devil is a liar, because this doesn't happen at Hillview. Okay, so let me just give a brief introduction of our special guest speaker today. Okay, Patrice Lockhart. Does anybody know this lady? Anybody know this name? Okay, wonderful. Well, she is the hottest thing in the Bahamas. I mean, for people like me in menopause, and this month happens to be Menopause Awareness Month along with Cancer Awareness Month, Breast Cancer Awareness. So Patrice is a trailblazer in the Caribbean. Patrice and I met over the telephone when we started having this conversation, and I feel like I know this woman forever. One thing that stands out to me, and I want to start with this, people normally end with it. One thing that stands out to me about Patrice is she is a woman of God. She knows the Lord, because every conversation that we have, the Holy Spirit comes up, and I love that about you, Patrice. That's really special. So Patrice is a certified menopause health and wellness coach in the Caribbean, a Caribbean trailblazer. She's an author, and you have your book? Okay, she has a few copies of her book with her tonight, but I'm sure you'll let us know how we can get more. Okay, so Patrice, menopause, I can't read, can't see. Okay. Patrice Lockhart is the Caribbean's first certified menopause health and wellness coach and the visionary founder of Menopause Survival Care. Based in the Bahamas, she's a bold voice, reimagining midlife health, dignity, and womanhood for a generation of women. Through her advocacy, coaching, and educational programs, Patrice helps women understand menopause not as a medical problem, but as a natural and powerful transformation. Her unique work blends science, soul, spiritual, and culture, guiding women from confusion and shame. Confusion and shame, and that is one thing I wanted to speak about that's attached to this. Shame. And it's completely not necessary. It's natural. Nothing to be ashamed about. Through confusion and shame and clarity, confidence, and renewed vitality. Her work across the Caribbean and internationally earned her recognition from respected organizations such as the Organization of American States for her groundbreaking leadership in menopause awareness and education. I will end there, and I will allow Patrice to share with you the rest of her bio. But ladies, please put your hands together and welcome Patrice Lockhart.
Thank you. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Good evening, ladies. Can I tell you something? I am like Fabia. I like to talk to you. Can I tell you something? God has the menopausal woman on his mind. Let me tell you that again. God has the menopausal woman on his mind. And ladies, I want you to know that you have more control over this menopausal transition than you realize. I often say we suffer more from lack of knowledge more than anything. And scripture says, my people perish because? Yes. I don't know if we're ready yet, but let me just tell you about a bit about myself. First of all, like my shirt says, October is Menopause Awareness Month. And I have a passion. God has given me a passion to help women understand menopause. And let me tell you a bit about myself. I went into menopause years ago, perimenopause, and I didn't know. I was dealing with, I began to put on weight, I was dealing with anxiety, and I was having issues sleeping. For about a year, I was having a challenge sleeping. Then that year turned into 6 weeks of sleeping for under an hour. And by this time, my brain started to do stuff. When I would shut my eyes, just like the old black and white television screen we used to see, I used to see those lines, and I literally would see bits and pieces of like a movie. This happened for 6 weeks. Then this turned into day, then night, another day, another night, another day, another night, without a wink of sleep. I didn't know what was going on. I was dealing with rejection at that time in my life, so a family member literally had to help me. She came and she had to take me out of my home to help me. And so for 2 weeks, she cared for me. And sometimes God challenges me to tell all of my story, and sometimes I don't want to. But I'll be obedient. I was living with my sister-in-law who took me in for 2 weeks, and she worked at the Rand Memorial Hospital. And when I stopped sleeping, stuff started happening. I couldn't tell you anything at this point. Life just got crazy for me. And I remember she looked at me. This was about maybe the third day of consistently not sleeping, going into the third night. She said to me, "Patrice, do you understand?" She looked in my eyes. I'll never forget that. "Do you understand what happens when you stop sleeping?" And I was looking at her. She said, "Your organs are going to start shutting down." And literally, my body was doing stuff. I didn't know what was going on. And I had thought that the reason why I was going through what I was going through, and I'm going to be honest, was because of the family situation I was dealing with. And my thing was, I just need to sleep. By that third night, it just got crazy. In the wee hours, I remember I couldn't take it anymore. Some crazy stuff happened. And I went to her and I said, "Nessa, I'm ready to go to the doctor." She got up and she took me to the hospital. They examined me, and I kept on. By this time, I was like a Jones. I just wanted to sleep. And I was saying to the doctor, "Please give me something to sleep. Can you make me sleep? Just make me sleep." Nothing was working at this point. They examined me for a while, asked me a lot of questions, and I remember telling the doctor, "I know what I have to do. Just make me sleep, and when I get up, I can handle life." They examined me, and they pulled my sister-in-law aside, and they talked to her. And then she came to me. She said, "Patrice, the doctor's saying there's nothing wrong with you physically. They want you to see the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist will be able to help you." And I looked at her, and I said, "Can the doctor help me to sleep?" She said, "Yes." Then I said, "Yes, I'll do it." I got admitted. It was a horrible night. I will never forget that for as long as I live. They brought me, I think it was the next day, or the next evening, before a bunch of psychiatrists and psychologists, and they questioned me. And they determined that nothing was wrong with me psychologically, that I was fine. Let her go home. So I left there with the doctors, the medical doctors, saying nothing's wrong with her. The psychiatrist saying nothing's wrong with her, she's fine. But I wasn't sleeping, I was dealing with anxiety, and I was putting on weight. It began a journey where I'd gone to a number of doctors in Freeport. Oh, yeah. And then I relocated here to Nassau, and it was the same thing. It got so bad, literally, there wasn't a doctor I didn't go to. Then I got to the stage where I was having issues. If we could keep it to, okay. It got to the stage where I started having horrible heart palpitations. Severe. So much so that I had problems breathing, and it used to make me very, very weak. I had an incident that happened, I will never forget this, in the middle of the night. My mom is now 85, and it was just she and I. My son was away, and the doctors thought I had a heart attack. They had come to my house. The doctor had come at 5, 6 in the morning. And when he was examining me, I told him what had happened. And when he was examining me, he said, obviously wasn't your time. And while he was examining me and talking to me, he shook his head, and I asked him, he said it again. I said, why you keep saying that? He looked at me, he said, Patrice, every time a patient has all of what you described is what happens before a patient dies just after a heart attack. He looked at me and he said, obviously it wasn't your time. 8 years into perimenopause, in the middle of the night again, something happens. And I call my girlfriend around 2, maybe 2, 3 in the morning, thought I was dying of a heart attack. I don't know if you remember Sanford and Son. Remember, he was always dying of a heart attack. Well, that was me that night. I was scared. Okay, Jesus. Called my sister-in-law, scared, couldn't figure what's going on. I woke her up, and ever so gently, after I told her, I'm scared, I'm frantic. She said to me, Patrice, I don't know why you don't accept the fact that you're perimenopausal. When she said that, there was a deathly silence. Because you had to understand, by this time, I was fasting, I was praying, I was begging God. I've been to all the doctors, nobody could help me. And I was reading, and I was already in natural health already. And so I read some stuff about what I was going through, and it was talking about perimenopause, but as far as I was concerned, that only happened to old women. And I tell this story for a reason, because so many menopausal women are like that. I had to then accept the fact that I was perimenopausal, because praying, I'm telling you, fasting, praying, begging God, what is this? What am I gonna die? You know, how many of you have thought you're gonna die? And so, can I have the clicker? And so, one of the things.
So down for the next one.
Oh, down. Thank you. So, I went through all of this, and it wasn't until I spoke to a group of women who had been to school with me, and I put it in the group. I remember being very vulnerable, telling them what was going on with me, asking if anybody else was dealing with anything like this. And I remember, I don't know if you were a part of that day, Anna Mae. Listen, Our school chat group with the women have never been like that. That day, there was about 50-something women from the moment I put that on straight until the night, sharing their menopausal experience. And for me, I was like, so you're telling me this normal? How come I didn't know this? I was so confused. And it sent me on a journey. I was in the beauty salon. Listen here, you know the conversation was about menopause. I was asking every older woman anywhere. I needed to understand, how come nobody told me about this, etc. And it took me on a journey to where God helped me to understand that this was a part of my purpose. When I was going through in Freeport, he had said to me, that what I was going through was necessary. I didn't understand it. I understood it when one day sitting at the table, there was this lady who stopped speaking in this country for one entire month. Not a word came out of her mouth. And she had called me one night. I was working, doing some menopausal stuff, and another lady had called. And she was so wired up, she wasn't sleeping. And so I told her and I helped her to do what I used to do, because I literally never used to sleep. So John Hagee had a 3-hour prayer. Creflo Dollar had I could recite that whole 6 hours of prayer. And there was a song, sickness and disease, you can't have your way. God is the healing running through my vein, and no bad report is gonna take my joy away, because God, you are the healing running through my vein. That's what I had to keep me going, my trust in God. And eventually he told me, I went through that to help women. And then I decided to certify in the UK, because the UK has been the one who is very far ahead with menopause education. But that's a bit about me and my menopausal journey, why I'm here. Okay, ready? As I am the country and the Caribbean, actually, first menopause health and wellness coach. I work with women, helping them to navigate their menopausal journey. I work with women one-on-one. I literally put together protocols to help women, and I always tell women, your cocktail of symptoms tells me your story. I work with women in the Bahamas, in the Caribbean, and in the US. I work with women naturally. I do a lot of what you see I'm doing right now, even with the seminars, the presentations. And my mission first is to the people of the women of this country, helping them to understand menopause, because menopause does not just impact the woman. It impacts marriages. Marriages have been torn apart. I get the stories, I get the calls, the men call me as well, and it has been flying under the radar in the workplace. So many organizations do not understand that a woman don't leave menopause at home. It shows up on the job with that brain fog. I can tell you, accountants talk to me how afraid they are, because so much depends on them, and they have these brain fogs. They lose their confidence. It shows up in lack of productivity, because when a woman can't sleep, how can you give 100%? I was traveling to do a seminar the other day, early in the morning. My flight was booked, and I was going to get some tea. And the lady was so mean to everybody. And it was early in the morning. I already didn't want to be up so early. So I'm like, this woman better not say anything to me. All I want is my herbal tea. Let me go get my tea. All of the men she was mean to. By the time I got to the counter, And I looked in the woman's face. She was about 48, 49, and she had bags under her eyes down here. And I realized, oh my God, this woman isn't sleeping. And she has to be here to work because she needs to pay her bills, etc. And all of a sudden, I understood what was going on with her. And one of the things I'm also I call women on to be is compassionate towards each other. Sometimes you see people being irritable on the job. Sometimes they're sleeping. They deal with brain fog. It affects customer relations. It affects relations on the job. Menopause shows up in the workplace. 99% of the women in this country, like me, enter the menopausal transition clueless, totally unprepared to deal with the symptoms and the changes that their bodies will go through. Each year, over 3,000 more women enter in this Bahamas into the menopausal transition. And 9 out of 10 women say their mothers did not tell them anything about menopause. Fact. 60% of divorces happen and are initiated by menopausal women between the age of 40 and 60. Most women enter midlife with so much going on. A woman's body is going through so much hormonal changes, and these changes take her take what woman knows as a normal life for hostage. And let me just give you a profile of what a menopausal woman looks like. And I think this is important because while our bodies are going through these hormonal changes, we're still living the same life we've been living. But here's a profile. When a woman goes into menopause, she's got so much going on. For so much menopausal women, they have responsibilities for their parents. Sometimes their parents are sick and they're taking care of them. Many menopausal women, they have husbands that are not well and they're taking care of them. I've dealt with so many of them. Their husbands are not well, not mobile, they're in bed, so they have to take care of them, so they're not even taking care of themselves. And I mean, the list goes on with the menopausal woman with what's going on. And she's at a place on the job where she can't afford to leave. She's worked so long for so many years. And if she leaves, the younger person is going to take over. Who is going to pay her the kind of money she has? She has a mortgage that she has to finish paying. She's got kids in school and university. So she can't afford to leave her job. So whether she feels miserable or not, she's staying on the job. Menopause is a very sensitive time for a woman. Menopause affects women on 3 levels: physically, mentally, and emotionally. There, I said it, ladies. Yes, it affects us mentally. I'm going to talk to you a lot about that because I get a lot of that in this country, and I know we don't talk about it, but fact is, if a woman has been dealing with mental issues previously in her life, there's a 99% chance she's going to have mental issues during the menopause, and I'll explain why. Menopause is a natural transition in a woman's life. It is not a disease. It is not a medical condition. Your body is not broken down. Like I said, we suffer from lack of understanding. And when a woman's estrogen levels begins to decline, some things happen for her. I often say that as women, we come into this world with what I call a basket of eggs, literally millions. Every one of you as a little girl, you came with millions of eggs. By the time you got to puberty, and I'm going to use Fabia here, you're going to be the person I refer to. So here's what happened when Fabia, I'm saying that right? Fabia. When Fabia went into puberty. How many of you remember when you went into puberty? I always think that's amazing because I don't. But well, I remember when I had my first period. But here's what happens. There is a hormone in your body that makes you a woman. It's called estradiol. It's a powerful form of estrogen, but it's that hormone that looked in Fabia's basket of eggs and looked at Fabia and said, Fabia, now there's no way I can let you go back to God with all them eggs. God gave you them for a reason. So I am going to help you use up all of these eggs. Now what Fabia didn't know was that she had about 33 years worth of eggs now left that she has to use. And so when estradiol looked in that basket and saw she had 33 years of good eggs to use, estradiol said to Fabia, now, I can help you use these eggs, but I ain't gonna be with you forever. And so when she came up, she became active in Fabia's life. All of a sudden, Fabia started having breasts. She had hair on the arm, pubic hair, shape change, because her body started getting ready for the reproductive time in her life. And then she started having a period every month. Now, what Fabia was so busy playing that she didn't even hear when estradiol said, now, I'm not going to be with you forever. I'm just going to help you. Now, when you finish with these eggs, I'm out of here. But actually, what I'm going to do, by the time you get about 8 to 10 years of eggs left, I can start packing my bags. Now, the thing about estradiol, I call her a her, because she's just like a female, full of drama. So when you get to that point, when Fabia got to that point, 8 to 10 years before, 8 to 10 years worth of eggs left in her basket, estradiol said, okay, Fabia, I know you ain't listening to me, but I'm going to start packing my bags. When this began to happen, Fabia went into what's called perimenopause. 8 to 10 years before Fabia stops bleeding. Most of us don't even know when our bodies make that transition. I remember for me, and I didn't realize this until one of my studies, we were doing one topic, and I remembered, all my life, I had 3 days of a period. When everybody was counting and all that stuff, I didn't have to do any of that. And on the third day, I could wear a light shield. And my period was very consistent all my life until I got about 41. And then all of a sudden, I noticed my period was like from the beginning of the month, like close to the middle. And I was like, oh, that's strange, that never happened. What I didn't know was my body made that switch. Okay, you're on your last 8 to 10 years. Now, I didn't know that till long afterwards, but I was able to figure it out. But most of us do not know when our bodies make that switch. Once again, menopause is a natural transition in a woman's life. The same way you came into this world as a little baby, then you move on to being a toddler, then you move on to being a little girl, then you move into your reproductive age where you start, you're able to have children or have a period. God has designed that you are going to end that season in your life, which is going to be menopause. In today's world, our lifestyle triggers so much of the symptoms that we're dealing with. The first stage, menopause has 3 stages. Perimenopause, which is 8 to 10 years prior to a woman ending her period, and that's when your hormone levels begin to seesaw. Today, you're here. Half hour from here, you're crying. 10 minutes from that, you're laughing. 1 hour from that, you're mad at the world, and the husband and the children trying to figure out what's going on with you. That's the hormones, and I'll explain why that happens. The next stage of menopause is called menopause. A woman does not enter menopause until she's had 12 full months of not bleeding. Even if you've been like me, I bled, I stopped bleeding for 6 months, period came back on. It's like, oh Lord, I thought I was finished. Then I look after a while, my period stopped again. Guess how long my period stopped for? 6 months again, and it came back on. I'm like, okay, Lord, I just have to deal with it. But you do not go into menopause until you've had 12 full months. That's literally a day. That day is called menopause. Now, in the menopause, women normally enter the menopausal transition about 40. That's when your body kicks in, because all of us have about 33 years worth of eggs, give or take. Now, let me tell you, I always have to say this, there are anomalies. There are women, like I had a session in March. There was a woman sitting in my session at 65 years old, still having a period. I have met, then there was a woman who who used to be in San Salvador. She bled until 70 years of age. And in Grand Bahama, I met 2, 65 and 69. So we do have anomalies. And the lady who was in my session, she wanted to know if she was normal. I'm like, yes, you got eggs. Your body, your body knows how to handle itself. And if you still have more eggs, you're still fertile. So nothing's wrong with you. Yeah, yes, and women can become pregnant, because a lot of women, that's how a lot of women become pregnant, and they call it menopausal baby, because you could stop bleeding and think you're finished. One lady called me, she was so upset. I was at their church. She said, Patrice, I stopped bleeding for 10 months. Do you believe month number 11 my period came on? She said her husband was so disappointed. But our bodies get to do what it has to do. Normally, we enter the menopausal transition in our 40s, early 40s. When women go into the menopausal transition prior to 40, there's usually a number of reasons for it. Early menopause. Sometimes hereditary. Sometimes PCOS, their ovaries aren't working. Sometimes some women have a hysterectomy, full or partial, etc. But that's not the norm. The body tends to kick in globally around 40, 41, etc. Here in the Bahamas, I have been finding that when I first started, there was a group like 49, women were ending 49. But I've been finding from between 51 to 54 is the stage that the average Bahamian women, and I stop bleeding. Then we go into what's called postmenopause, and the menopause globally, the numbers are between 51 to 58 that women go into menopause, depending on your culture. Some cultures, like the Black Americans, they tend to end, and the Latinos, they tend to end around 49. And they're different cultures. The women seem to, our clocks are a little different. But the window is between 51 and 58 years of age. Postmenopause is after you've stopped bleeding, your hormones are low, estradiol said, bye-bye, no more, I finished with you, I've done my work. And that is the time, a lot of interesting things happen, but we'll talk about that. That's the time when the body has to get used to low hormones. And I tell women, you have more control over your menopausal journey than you think. It's just that we don't know what to do. And we'll talk a lot about that. Now, I remember when I studied, at that point, because I was one of the first few black menopause coaches, and when I studied, there was about 34, 35 symptoms. And about a year or so, science had brought it now, they were saying there was about 40. Then this last couple of years, about 60, and now it's moving. There's a lot of research now being done on menopause, because there's a lot, we have been saying, we need to put the monies behind this. We need to understand menopause and what's going on with a woman's body. But I'm just going to quickly go through just some of them I have here and some more. The classic hot flashes and night sweats. And everybody seems to think that's menopause, but menopause is more than that. Women are dealing with fatigue and don't realize that's menopause. Dizziness, loss of libido, mood swings, irritability, hair loss. I heard somebody talking about it. Estrogen keeps our hair in its growing phase. And so when your estrogen begins to decline, you notice so many women have, they find that their hair is receding around here. Some deal with male pattern baldness, hair thinning. It's because the estrogen is responsible for keeping our hair in its growing phase. Women deal with weight gain, round hair, hormonal, listen, and we'll talk about the hormonal weight is different from weight when you overeat. You approach it very differently. Women deal with palpitations. How many of you have been dealing with palpitations and been to see the EKGs or EC? Listen, we all think we was gonna die, been to the heart doctor a million times. Listen, something has to be wrong. You tell me nothing wrong with my heart, but trust me, every woman, a lot of women all over the world with these heart palpitations, listen here, the cardiologists, they do well from us because we be so fearful at this time. Bloating. Lots of women have digestional issues around this time. The imbalance of the hormones cause a lot of imbalance for a woman's her gut. And I work with women to help the gut microbiome balance. Headaches. A lot of y'all dealing with these headaches and wondering why you have headaches. It's a neurological symptom. Tinnitus. How many of you know about that ringing in the air? How many of you, that ringing? That one I say from the devil. Jeez. I think it was last year. I had it like for 5 months, loud, nonstop. And it was because when you're not sleeping or you're stressed, you'll be laying down sleeping, trying to sleep, and all you could hear. At one point, I had 2 sets of noise, and I could tell the difference. That's how bad it was. But that ringing in the air. The next thing, and we have a lot of women say they don't have menopausal symptoms because they don't have the popular ones. But a lot of women, the bladder weakness. Let me tell you about this one. You would be sitting down at work at your office and you need to use the bathroom. You ain't going nowhere. You got work to do. Get into menopausal transition. You need to use the bathroom. You break off running. Nobody better be in the way. And even before you pull down your panties, you got a little accident. Congratulations. You're in the menopausal transition. Memory lapse. Okay, I think we got a choir here. You go in the room. You stand there. Jesus, what I come here for. And you really got to try and remember what you come here for. I see I got a witness. The other day, I was working. So I took the glasses off my eyes. And I put on a shirt. Couldn't find my glasses. All over the place, frustrated, looking for my glasses. I went to my son. Michael, you see my glasses? He looked at me. I looked at I was so embarrassed, I walked away. Itchy skin. A lot of you dealing with this itchy skin, dry, itchy skin, menopause. Not only the dry, itchy skin, one of my clients, her eyes, it messed with the lubrication in her eyes. A lot of women, every year I go to Grand Bahama and I'm on a panel that deals with menopause in Grand Bahama, and there is a dental hygienist, and she talks about even how the mouth, what happens with the menopausal women and their mouth, the dryness, and that's why a lot of women also deal with the vaginal dryness and the itchy, the lubrication. Estrogen helps the body with lubrication. Nausea, feel like you're pregnant. No, you ain't pregnant. You're menopause. Joint pain. I heard my friend talk about that, and I tease ladies, there was a time you could jump about a bed. Spring chicken, the old people say. Then all of a sudden, one morning, you get up and you're trying to figure out why my back feel like this. I have a family member, she said to me, she started rebuking her knee in the name of Jesus. I'm like, you menopausal. Anxiety, brittle, and listen, anxiety is real. And we're going to talk about that. And let me just keep going. Brittle nails, digestive issues, urinary incontinence. And I wanted to stop here too because this stuff is real. I get to deal with the women. There's so many women who are having to wear pads or posies every day of their life because their pelvic floor is weak. And we're going to talk about that. And they hide it. I have women who literally, involuntarily wet themselves up, have no control. I had a pelvic floor session, and it's amazing how women can be geniuses. This lady, she's a teacher. She and a friend, she said what they do, because both of them have the same issue. She said they had an event they went to. They carry extra clothes, extra set of panties, towels to clean themselves. She said they were at a function, and the lady needed to go to the bathroom. Persons were there. She wet up herself. She said they didn't let that stop her. She said she went in the car, cleaned up herself, changed, and she said they continued to have their fun. Literally, women wet up themselves when it comes to menopause, and that's the pelvic floor becoming weak. Low mood, urinary tract infection. Many women, postmenopausal women, deal so much with UTIs, and they become frustrated, and they take a lot of antibiotics. But estrogen also, what we have not been told is that menopause impacts our brain, and it also impacts our vagina. I know, now let me just say, ladies, I have to give you the real thing. I know culturally, we don't like to say what it is, but it has to be. I have to say it. And let me give you an example to help you to understand, because I'm just like you. When I was doing my pelvic floor sessions, the instructor gave us an assignment that we had to look at our own vaginas, and because we had been through some things, so you had to go and you had to do your own thing, to be able to identify, etc. So that was the part I had the problem with. And I remember I would not do it. I just would not do it. And I moved on to another lesson, and it's like, and I had to stop at one point because there was a lesson that referred back to that. And I had to stop, and I was like, Patrice, why won't you do it? And what I had to come to grips with was the fact that in our Bahamian culture, the only thing you do, you've been told, is to clean yourself. You don't look and all that sort of stuff. And let me tell you what I did. Because I had to do that assignment, I went in my room. I locked the door. I closed the windows. I closed the curtain because I was sure somebody was going to pass and think I was doing something wrong. But that is the culture we grow up in. And so I had to become comfortable in first dealing with me, then to be able to talk to women about this aspect of it. But menopause impacts our vagina, and what happens is when you see women with a lot of urinary tract infections, the estrogen acts as a protection. It keeps the pH balance of our vagina. Just like how your mouth has a pH and your stomach, your body has a pH balance, so does our vagina. And when your pH balance isn't what it's supposed to be anymore, you don't have the protection. That's why many women have the urinary tract infection. It is so easy. I tell women, listen, before intercourse, you have to clean yourself. After, you have to clean yourself. It's so easy for bacteria now to have its way. So it is so important because you do not have the pH balance or that the estrogen once afforded you prior. Vaginal dryness, difficulty concentrating, osteoporosis, the bones. You remember they always told us by 50 you always start taking calcium. That's because of the support that estrogen had always offered your body up until this point. And when she goes, that support goes. So we always have to take the calcium. Emotional changes, depression, aching muscles, them frozen shoulder, trying to figure out them knee problems, them back problems, them joint problems. You're menopausal. Heavy periods, tender breasts, panic attack, skin changes, irregular periods, insomnia, and even body odor changes. So many women, and I find that it's in their 40s, the perimenopausal women. All of a sudden, you know, your arm is smelling, and it never used to smell like that, etc. I see we got a witness here. All of these, even you see women starting to have hair under your chin, whatnot, your testosterone levels are high, etc. All of these, the imbalance of the hormones, these happen in our body. Menopause is more than just a reproductive transition, ladies. It's a transition for your brain. And this is something I want you to take with you because the research is so serious on this. But we haven't been told. I want this photo up here, before and after. There is a neuroscientist called Dr. Lisa Mosconi. She is the first neuroscientist who did research and took a photograph, or imaging rather, of a woman's brain before menopause, and then she trailed her and she took a photo after, an imaging after. And I want you to look at what your brain would look like before, and literally it looks toasted afterwards. She began, and then a number of other scientists now have done it, and one of the things the male scientists have said, now they understand, now they believe that what women were saying is true about the brain. Someone just sent me the photo of the lady with, you know, the smoke coming out of her head, and asking me if that's true. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, listen, our bodies are amazing. Now, there's a part of the brain called the hypothalamus that regulates body temperature. And when a woman has hot flashes, night sweats, cold hands, cold feet, headaches, nausea, dizziness, it's because this part of the brain is being impacted. They're called vasomotor symptoms. The next part of a woman's brain that's impacted, and I do this because I want women to understand why you doing what you doing, okay? There's the next part of a woman's brain that's impacted. It's called the amygdala. The amygdala is responsible for regulating your emotions. So when you see a woman having all of these mood changes, anxiety, depression, irritability, sadness, lack of motivation, panic attacks, aggressiveness, I often tell men if I'm dealing with men's ministry or a husband in a session, don't take it personal. Literally, that part of her brain that's responsible for emotion is not getting the support that it's been getting from puberty. That estradiol that's been supporting it, it's like a tank of gas. I use that analogy. It's like a tank of gas. You've been running on a tank of gas from puberty. You've had a full tank of gas. And when you went into perimenopause, your gas tank began to go down. Then you have 3/4. As you continue to go and you have on all these symptoms, your half tank. That tank go down to a 1/4 tank. You better write mercy. And then when we get to no gas in the tank, you're officially in menopause. But the thing is, estradiol has been a key player in so many functions of our bodies, and we have so many estrogen receptors all over our body, and that's why we have so many symptoms, because it's been responsible for helping so many parts of your body function the way it's supposed to function. The next part of a woman's brain that's impacted is called the hippocampus. That's the memory center of the brain. Brain fog, memory loss, forgetfulness, difficulty concentrating, difficulty with clear thinking. All of that is because that area, if any of you are dealing with that, it's because that area of your brain is having a difficult time during your transition right now. And it's kind of like, where's my estradiol? Where's my estradiol? Where's my estradiol? And so you would have women who have difficulty focusing and thinking, etc. The next part of a woman's brain that is also impacted for those of you who are having sleep issues is the stem of the brain. If you're having issues with sleeping, then there are a couple of things, and this is one thing I also wanted to say to women too. Our bodies are different. A lot of you go to sleep. Some of you, menopausal women, you're able to go to sleep. But then you would jump up in the middle of the night and you buzzing. Can I get a testimony? Now, some of you get up because you have to go to the bathroom, etc. Here's what you need to do. Our bodies are not the same. Our insulin, life changes for you. So what you need, a lot of you cannot be eating carbohydrates in the evening time. You have to eat a balanced meal. If you're eating your protein and your veggies, do so. But if you're gonna eat your carbs earlier in the day. What happens is there is a digestion time for food. And when we improperly combine food in the gut, it stays longer. And if you go to sleep and you've eaten carbohydrates and it has to break down, even though what's supposed to happen? When you sleep, the gut is supposed to rest as well. But if your body is still busy breaking down food, even though you're sleeping, and that's why so many people get up tired in the morning, because the gut's still working. And by the time the gut finish, you're ready to get up. But if you eat carbs, what happens is when you eat carbs, the body has to release insulin to help to break it down. And when that happens, the adrenal glands is gonna think something is going on with you because you're sleeping, but insulin is being produced, and the adrenal glands produces what's called cortisol. The cortisol hormone is going to be released, and our cortisol is our fight or flight hormone. So there's no way you're gonna be sleeping and the body releasing cortisol. So you're gonna have to eat your carbs earlier in the day, let your body process that, so that whenever you eat your last meal, make sure your last meal is able to be digested before you go to bed, so that the gut can also have a chance to rest as well. Our bodies, you know, when we were younger, we could go to dinner, eat late, and sleep and get up and be fine. I promise you, this is a different body we're dealing with. I'm big on research because when I started, and there is none in the Bahamas and Caribbean, so I've been doing a number of small research on smaller levels. One of the first things I did, because, and I'm saying this carefully, let me just go into the story. One of the things that I thought that was very important was to find answers that are good for the people in the Bahamas. Because with my studies, you know, we looked at a lot of different cultures, but I needed to focus on the culture here. And one of the things I did was I did 3 groups of women. I put something on Facebook. And I wanted women who had severe menopausal symptoms, all of these crazy hot flashes, etc. And I told them I was doing a challenge, a 30-day challenge. And these women who responded were from Nassau, Grand Bahama, Eleuthera, all of the islands. And the first group was a group of 30 women. They filled out a form where they helped me to understand what was going on with them. And the agreement was for 30 days, consistently, you would take the maca root powder. And anything that happens, you would tell me. So for 30 days, I had different groups of women at different times. They would take the maca root, and what I would do every day, remind them every day. Now, I did not put them in a group so they could talk about their experiences. Someone from Nassau would say, guess what? It's day 7 to 8. My hot flashes are gone. Someone from Eleuthera would send me a text. Someone from Grand Bahama. And so what I was doing was I documented and trailed the journey with each group of women. And there were 4 to 5, but 5. But the 5th one, but there was 4 very extreme ones. I found that in 30 days, women's hot flashes went. 98% of the women, their hot flashes went. I had about, in the groups, maybe about 3 in total, that they had to continue, but by the time they continued, they were well. And then it was one woman, she had an issue, but her issue was something else, plus. The hot flashes and night sweats went. Then women were able to sleep. Then I had another lady, she and her husband were having issues because she had a low libido, and I often have to tell women, I understand that, you know, you're having your issues, but you still are a wife, and you cannot just say, I'm sorry for my husband. You know, you have to put the work in. And this lady, I remember I picked up my phone, and all I heard was, I got my libido back. That's why she was so excited. She didn't think anything could help, but you know, she was able to get her libido back. Women, the hot flashes, the night sweats, the libido, the sleep. Oh, and there were women who were able to have the PAS and energy. The PAS was the 5th. Energy, a lot of women got their energy back. So this is something that I carry, and I tell women, listen, we have solutions. You have more control over your menopausal symptoms than you think. It's a natural transition. We just have to work with our bodies. I work with women here in the Bahamas. I've worked with women in the Caribbean, Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Turks and Caicos. And I can tell you, in the U.S., we just need to understand what's going on, and you can work with your bodies. I've got testimonies all over who will tell you. I have women who, now that their hormones are balanced, they understand, and they'll come back 6, 7, 8, sometimes a year after, okay, Patrice, I feel in my hormones, I need my protocol. And now they understand what to do. They understand, I teach women how to listen to your body. and to respond and not say, oh, that happened for no reason. No, there is always a reason. The next thing I want to bring to your attention is ashwagandha. I had a teacher. She was dealing with the mental and emotional aspects of menopause to an extreme. She heard me on the radio. She had been to a lot of doctors and they were treating her, she said, like, I'm crazy. But when I met her, honestly, she had started to believe. So she had started, because she couldn't get any answers. She said she heard me on Bodhi's show. She walked to my session that night. Her husband wasn't home. She couldn't get a ride. She walked to Carmichael Road. She said, you're the first one I ever heard say anything about what was going on with me. I worked with that woman and I helped her to balance her hormones because they wanted to put her on antidepressant, and many women go on antidepressant. And that is not the issue. Our brain health is so important, ladies, during this transition. And I want you to remember this. Whatever you do, take care of your brain. Take omega-3 during this time. Ashwagandha, the brain needs support during this transition. That is so important. One research showed how the women who have the most severe symptoms, neurological symptoms, are the ones who go into that Alzheimer's and dementia. All we got to do is take care of the brain during the transition and you'll be okay. Ashwagandha helps lower cortisol. It helps with anxiety and stress big time. I put my clients on them, and I believe in doing everything naturally. Everything naturally. And I've seen amazing results. And I'm saying it because I want you to understand there are answers. You don't have to suffer needlessly. Okay, this I can hardly see. But when it comes to our skin, we lose 20% of our skin elasticity in the first 5 years of your menopausal transition. The first 5 years. And then we lose about 2% afterwards for the next 20 years. So women deal with the dry skin, the itching skin, the wrinkles. What's that? Anyhow, all of your eyes just like mine. Yes, we're not alone. This is my masseuse. I'm sharing this with you because she was my masseuse in Grand Bahama, going through the menopausal transition. And for some of us, some women tend to look old, and they don't realize that there is something that you can do. Unfortunately, the collagen, we lose collagen. And the collagen is what keeps the skin nice and plump, you know. And so women begin to get these nasopharyngeal lines, the lines around hair, you know, the things that we have a hard time trying to figure out, okay, how to deal with this. But I want you to look at this woman's eyes before this oil called Recapture. Look at her eyes 1 month after using Recapture. Then look at under the eyes 3 months. This lady, like I said, it didn't do her justice. This is the bottom part of her face. Look at her nasopharyngeal line and under her chin, 1 month. Look at it after, look at it 3 months. After 3 months, your skin, and I'm saying this so you could understand, there is hope, ladies. I know sometimes we feel like it's hopeless, but when you work along with the body will respond. There is an oil that we have called Recapture, and it's actually a formula God gave me. I had studied oils, but I wanted to be able to put something together for the mature woman and her skin. Because I understood what was going on, I understood about the collagen, and I wanted to put something, a formula together that was natural. And the recapture is that, and I take no credit for it because all wisdom comes from God. And He gave me that. And this is what she looks like. And we have that. This is another lady. Now, here's what was interesting. I always ask people to take photos. This is 3 months. You know, you see her first month, see her 3 months. This next lady, hers was under a month. And, you know, our bodies respond differently. But even though she's an older woman, this is what happened. She ended up having a lot of this. And I remember she came to my session. I'd gone to Grand Bahama. And she said her daughter laughed at her when she got the recapture, saying, nothing's going to happen. Well, look at her neck. Look at the difference. And what happens is we can stimulate collagen in our body by what we eat, and the recapture is designed for that. I wanted to share that with you so that you could know that there is hope, okay? Now, pardon? Or go back? Okay, we have it in the back there, but I'll talk some more about that. Okay. Okay, you got it? Okay. Now, one of the things, like I said, and I wanted to make this announcement, I'm going to do another 30-day challenge. So for those of you who are dealing with the hot flashes, and how many of you are sick and tired of the hot flashes? Okay. I'm doing another 30-day. And if you've been waking up drenched in sweat, you're finding yourself in the middle of the day or just feeling like your body is a furnace, trust me, thank you, you are not alone. The 30-day Hot Flash Freedom Challenge, it's safe, it's supportive space. What I do is for 30 days, and for this group, because I'm not doing research, I will put you together in a WhatsApp group. And for 30 days, there will be something you'll be taking, and there's some information, and there's certain things we're going to have to take out of our diet for a while. And once women see that it works, they are often so amazed. It's like, But there are things, and we have trigger foods. One of my coach, she had a speaking engagement, and she called me afterwards. She said, Patrice, just as I went up on stage, in front of everybody, all of a sudden I had a hot flash, drenched in front. And she had to make a joke out of it, because here she is literally in front of everybody, and she starts. And she was saying, you know, she couldn't understand. So I said to her, so what did you do just before that? What were you doing? She said, I grabbed a coffee and a bagel. And I was like, you triggered that. Coffee stimulates, triggers the hot flashes for so many women. And so many of the foods you're eating, filled with hormones and stuff like that, they trigger your hot flashes. So if any of you are interested, we have a setup in the back there, and you can sign up. Because, again, I want to do another group of women with the Hot Flash Challenge. Okay, that's the Hot Flash Challenge here, and we'll talk some more about that. Okay, now, some help for the joint aches. When I hear you talk about joint aches, one of the easiest things to do, let me first say this. I found the first thing when I had to accept the fact that I was perimenopausal was I needed to deal with the heart palpitations, because nobody else was helping me, telling me what to do. And again, because I was in the natural health field, my default is to go to what's natural. I learned that potassium regulates the heart. And so I decided that I would eat bananas, but not just any amount. You have to understand. Because I don't deal with diabetes or anything like that, when the heart palpitations, and they would be at night, I would be up in my bed. 5, 4, 5, 6, 7 bananas I will eat. And as sure as the sun rises and sets, the heart rate regulates. It seems like a drug, but it happens. And I share that with you because I always do that when I'm on the radio, because so many women have come back to me and said, Patrice, oh, I thank God for you. You said that. I did it and it worked. Now, not everybody can do what I can do with the bananas, but potassium. And I'm doing this because, we need answers, and as much answers as you can get, you can help yourself with. The next thing, joint pain. I promise you, you see that turmeric and ginger? We go and we spend tons and tons of money. But I promise you, I'm one of those, I believe in what God has put together for us. Turmeric and ginger will cause it in an hour to go away. I have so many stories that I can share with you, but most women experience joint and muscle pains and stiffness around the time of menopause that they didn't experience before. Estrogen, you know what estrogen is? It's a natural painkiller in your body. That's why as women, we could take so much pain. We could have babies, and then we complain, the man, we say, the man, every little pain, they crying. That's because you have the natural advantage of estrogen. Estrogen literally is a painkiller. And so when she goes, that's why you feel it here, you feel it there, and all the different, aches that you feel. You don't have that protection. But ensuring that you take your omega-3 supplement, collagen, and also adding phytoestrogen to your daily routine will produce miracles for you. And when I say phytoestrogen, that's plant estrogen. We have the maca in the back that I talked about here. Research shows that has so much phytoestrogen. There is a menopause green that I've created that I have people even put that with them with the maca. 30 days, guarantee. And I've seen it across the stage with women. And all it is balancing that hormone. The more we understand, the more you can help yourself. So for those of you dealing with that is excellent for you. Now the menopausal weight. Like I said, we all, nobody's do that. I know nobody in here have to worry about that and has had to do their stomach like that, and she's trying to figure out, Jesus, what's going on? I never had this before. Or, nobody in here ever have to hold in the stomach, Jesus, because, before it used to be flat, now, trying to embarrass you. Hormonal weight gain is different from overindulgence, and it must be approached differently. Ladies, stress and menopause don't work together at all. It's a poor marriage. Every time you're dealing with stress, whether physical, emotional, or environmental, it don't matter. The adrenal glands is going to produce cortisol. Cortisol is going to cause you to put on weight. Cortisol is going to cause you not to sleep. And understanding how to I know it's easier said than done living in this world we're living in when it comes to stress, but taking care of your body and dealing with the stress levels are very important. And a lot of you are dealing with weight because you're stressed. And when I say stress, I had one lady said to me, she don't have no stress. She didn't have any stress, but she was stressing over her kids. She wasn't stressing on the job. The body will respond to stress, whether you're sitting out on the light and they start blinking and the light about to change and they blowing you down and you rowing, you're releasing cortisol. You get up on that bed in the morning time and you think about, Jesus, I really don't want to go to this place today, and you start all of that. You're stressing. The body will respond. So understanding that you have more control. I know it's easier said than done, but you cause the body to release the cortisol. Black fire. This is another solution. One of the things that we have is something called black fire, because you can lose weight through some of us lose weight by taking something to cause, the colon to get clean, that peristalsis to begin to take the stuff out of your colon and clean it out. Another way, especially for us, we need to lose weight is the fat needs to be burnt. That's different from, when you're taking something. And what black fire does is that it speeds up, it burns, it causes our metabolism pump to kind of crank back up again, because it started to go slow before time, it used to run. And that's across the board for us menopausal women. And I always ask the women, I want proof to a before and a after. This lady, when she took this photo, and hers was less than a month, her before and after. This other lady here, hers was a month in the, I guess, greenish, bluish. And then this is her 30 days afterwards. And she said to me, Patrice, you know what was so interesting? I didn't do much changes with my eating. And even her husband went on it, and his blood pressure normalized, etc. Again, I believe in doing things naturally. I believe naturally is God's way. And burning the fat, because you see her issue? She just started the weight came around here, and she couldn't figure, okay, what's all of this about? But causing her metabolism pump to start cranking up again is what helped her. And this is the black fire, let me read it, is an all-natural fat burner. It's all natural and organic. It's safe to help you to lose weight. It's the best way. It stops the fat tissue from growing and causes you to burn calories and turn up the fire. There are differences in how we put on weight. Like for black women, our fat cells become bigger. But that's another story for another time. Our bodies are quite interesting. This is something that you need to know. Every woman who goes into the menopausal transition, by the time you hit your 40s and your 50s, I don't care how healthy you are, we are at risk for cardiovascular disease just because you are a woman. Here's what happens. It's because of the work that the estradiol has been doing all of these times. A lot of women find themselves at this time, they have high blood pressure, cholesterol, or sugar. And literally, here's what happens. Estradiol keeps the good fat, the good cholesterol doing what it has to do, while it kind of keeps the bad cholesterol away. And once that is taken away, it becomes a matter of, when the cat's away, what the mouse do? And so we have, there's a number of things. So as women go through the menopausal transition, she has less fat, she accumulates more belly fat, which increases after she stops bleeding. And that visceral fat is what is the problem. It goes in between our organs. And that's why you have so many women, when you hear them, heart attack, a stroke. And I'm so passionate about this because one lady helped me last year with our menopause outreach in October. She just had a heart attack. And I tell women, we can't take it lightly. Even if you are healthy, there's some things that you have to do again, because there's some things that are not happening in your body that was happening before. and this is no commercial, but there's one on TV that I'm going to get. The TBM talks about a Vivia that keeps the arteries clean. I mean, there's so much documentary with the menopausal women and our heart. But needless to say, take care of your heart. Watch this fat that's around here. It's not healthy for us. I know we like to be plump and fluffy, but it's not good for us. This triggers 5 things. And one woman does not necessarily deal with all of these. Abdominal obesity, high triglycerides, which is the type of fat in the blood, low good cholesterol, high blood pressure, high blood sugar. Now, I put this here because if you are a menopausal woman and you have breast cancer, I don't recommend you take the maca. I put my clients on the chaga and the gano. And we'll talk, I'll talk about that another time, but I just wanted, what I'm trying to do in the time is also give you a lot of solutions so that you can understand that there is hope and you don't have to be hopeless. This is the last part. I want to talk about the urinary symptoms. Like I said, many of us don't know that menopause impacts a woman's vagina. And women deal with vaginal dryness, itching, burning, embarrassing bladder leaks, fecal leaks, painful sex, loss of libido, vaginal prolapse. And I want to stop here. I always stop here because this is something we need to know. And some women have it and don't even know. It was a while back now. One lady called me. She had to take care of her mom because her mom wasn't well. And she called me in shock because she had to bathe her mom, and then there was this thing hanging out under her, and she didn't know what to do. And what it was her mom had a stage 4 prolapse. Her mom hid it. She didn't say anything. And so she was horrified, trying to figure out what to do. Ladies, our pelvic floor, which is underneath here, it's a muscle. And just like how a lot of us, the muscles here, and I try to keep my hands so, all here won't shake. All of these get a little funny. Yes. And behind here, and we get the cellulite, the friends that stick closer to you than a brother. But not no lady in here, just me. But anyhow, what happens is the pelvic floor is a muscle. This muscle holds up some organs. The front of it, here, is the bladder. Okay, you can touch it and feel it. In back of the bladder is the uterus. Okay, now let me stop here. The bladder comes down through the urethra and to the floor of the pelvic floor as your clitoris. That's where you urinate. The uterus in the back of the bladder comes down to the pelvic floor as your vagina. In the back of the uterus is the bowel that comes down to the pelvic floor as your anus. So this pelvic floor has the responsibility of holding up these major organs. This floor is just like the floor in here. If something were to happen to this floor and this floor given, all of us going down, right? This lady, what had happened was her floor became weak, but apparently she didn't want to talk about it, or she didn't go to the doctor, I don't know. If you feel a heaviness here, ladies, deal with it, because it begins as a stage 1 prolapse. And for many ladies, and even after having a baby, some women deal with it. If you feel that heaviness down here, And for some women, they wait until it gets to stage 2. And stage 3, when it starts to come out, stage 4, it collapses. The floor becomes so weak, it can't hold up. Then we have some women, that's why they have fecal. There's a lady who can't even come out. She can't control that anymore. And some women, like I said, with the urine, they have to wear the posies or the pads all the time. And we can strengthen the pelvic floor, okay? I just wanted to say that because, and again, ladies, there's no shame. I know it's not easy, these things that happen to our bodies. But you're not alone. You are not alone. I do sessions, pelvic floor sessions, and I just have the pelvic floor women and the stories from the marriages being impacted, the giving up, etc. You do not have to suffer alone. There is help. I am here. I will work with you. You do not have to think that the world has come to an end. Women with vaginal prolapse, weak or non-existent orgasms, that frequent running to the bathroom, and not catching yourself in time. One of my clients had to get a doctor's certificate. She could no longer work at work because she kept on having to use the bathroom. But these things are real, but there is help. These symptoms get worse. This is what I want you to know. When it comes to the pelvic floor symptoms, unlike the other symptoms that there's so much help with, if you don't deal with them, the pelvic floor issue, it gets worse over time. Okay, so there's no, it can go away. You have to deal with it, okay? Strengthening that pelvic floor, and there's a lot of help with that. Yes, it's scary, it's frustrating, it's embarrassing, but there's help. And this part I want to talk about, the changes in the vagina. The changes during menopause cause significant changes in vaginal health, which is why many women notice the vagina looks different and feels different. The walls become thinner and weaker. That's why you have so much pain sometimes. It becomes thinner and weaker. Estrogen not only helps to keep our vagina healthy, but moisturized. So when your estrogen level drops, your glands stop producing the natural lubricants, which cause the vagina to be dry. And this causes the itching and the burning because your tissues are now more sensitive. And it is at this point you need to be more sensitive about what you wear. Cotton panties. These soaps with all of these dyes and these scents, you're making it worse. And my word is queendom. You're making it worse for your queendom. And I tell women, just how you take care of your skin on your face and your hand is the same way we need to take care of the skin down there. I have something in there called Graceful Garden. And what it does is that it helps the health of down there. And many women also say for intimacy it works, it helps them so much. But those pads, use cotton pads. Use your panties, make sure they're cotton. Your soap, natural soaps. You have to help yourself instead of hurting yourself. And sometimes, of course, we don't know. But I put that there because that's so important, very important. And the truth is that every woman's menopausal journey or experience is different. All of you can have, like this set, can have about 15 of the same symptoms, all of you. And each of you would have, maybe you may have 2 different than her, 3 different from, it's just different. And some women's symptoms are severe and some are not. Some women are heavily challenged mentally and emotionally. And I need to say this here because it's the church women I am finding with these, especially they love to hide when they're having the mental and emotional issues. I could tell you so much stories. There was this lady, praise and worship singer. dealing with the anxiety and depression, couldn't figure out what's going on. So her family thought one day, she would come call me, Patrice, something's going on. I don't know what's going on, when she really gets to that point. And I would say, listen, book an appointment, let me deal with this. No, it's just a devil, it's just a devil, it's just a devil. Listen, menopause is a natural transition in a woman's life. You just need to understand what's going on so that you could help the body. There are spiritual laws that we have to follow. There are laws that govern for our souls. There are laws that govern the physical being. Okay? And so she would do that. Next thing I heard, she got bad again. Her mommy come there, they casting out demons. Listen here, I've heard so much stories and I get upset because my people perish for lack of knowledge. Then one Christian woman said to me, you see them there? Every time someone goes menopause, say there's a demon in that family. I hear so much stuff like that really makes me upset, because that means we don't understand. And if we don't understand, we don't know how to address it, and we cause people to go back into a corner, etc. This lady, after a while it got so bad, she finally made an appointment to see me. Now that lady, listen here, she's so on top of her menopausal transition, and I mean from losing it to a point of she's in full control. Christmas, she's in the finance industry, so it was really rough in the Christmas, and she said to me, Patrice, I need my protocol again. I need to go back on my protocol because I feel it. I am not going to ever let myself get to that point again. And I'm saying that because there is help. How many of you, and I want you to be honest, because again, there is a need in our country, feel like you need a little more support or someone to be alongside you on your menopausal journey? Just raise your hand. Okay. What I've done, because see, for sure, menopause is not just physical. And I really want you to know that. So if you're dealing with anxiety, and some women, and you've seen, I deliberately showed you where the part of the brain that's impacted for you to understand. It touches every part of a woman. Emotionally, we're touched. The relationships are touched. Even a sense of purpose. One woman called me, I don't feel like a woman anymore. I mean, I hear everything. And sometimes trying to navigate, it can feel overwhelming. And so I'm offering to you, and this is what I just did. I said I'm going to do this for this group of ladies. I'm opening 10 spots this month, and I'm offering it to the women here. I do one-on-one consultations, and I put together protocols based on what's going on in your body. Like I said, your body tells me your story. And so what I'm doing is I'm offering a 15% savings to you women. My consultations are normally $95, but for any of you that would like to take advantage of it, and it's today only I'm offering it, you can sign up in the back. I'll be in the back. I have someone at a table in the back with some of our products as well as the sign up. I want you to know, again, ladies, you don't have to be alone. And the thing is about the menopausal transition, this year, this is a set of symptoms you're dealing with. I promise you, 2 years down the road is a different set. And so, again, that's why it's called the menopausal transition. And it ranges from 40 to about 65. Some women, depending on how they handle it, they could end before 65, but globally it's around 65. I found a number of Bahamians from when I first started, I was dealing with women in their late 60s to early 70s. And again, how you walk through this menopausal transition and help yourself will impact how you get older. Okay. Final thing, self-care. And even in offering that to you, I want you ladies to know, we are such good caretakers. We take care of everybody. We take care of the husband, the children, the car, the dog come to you, says, poor hurting, you're going to take care of the dog. The car need maintenance. We take care of everybody. We're great nurturers and caretakers. But learning to give ourselves that same grace is so needed, especially during the menopausal transition. It's a time that the body, your soul, your spirit needs to be nurtured. It's not an accident. We are fearfully and wonderfully created by our Father. There's a lot I can tell you about the spiritual aspect about menopause, but I know time is running out. But I want you to know that it is so crucial, ladies. Take care of yourself. Do what you need. Unfortunately, all of our products, because of the weather, got delayed, and I'm told we'll get it by Monday, Tuesday. We have the maca, we have the ashwagandha, we have the collagen, the black fire for the weight, the turmeric and ginger, the chaga and gano. Now, some of them are here, but one of the things I want to say too is it's an understanding what to do and how to do it and how much you need to do so that you can get results. I can guarantee every woman in here, in 30 days, I put you on a protocol, your symptoms will stop. That will teach you, and what I teach women during that time is how to listen to the body. Because so many women find it. One lady, I'm on Instagram, and I was talking about dealing with menopause naturally. And, the women are all over. And I was talking about, and one lady testified, she was saying it's so true. She did not think I could help her. And she was saying she didn't understand that the hormones could balance. And she shared a testimony globally about how I was able to help her. Ladies, I want to thank you for your time and your attention. Thank you. And the final thing I forgot to talk about, I've released a book called Menopause as Metamorphosis, What the Butterfly Knew. Menopause is more than just a hormonal shift. A lot happens in our soul and spiritually as women. And I want to encourage you. You see the We Don't Care movement? Estrogen keeps us nurturing. When we lose that, when it leaves, that's why it's like, listen, I ain't stressing no more over certain things. You find women saying a lot of things like that. Listen, I'm not hurting my head. There's a lot that happens, and God, listen, we are so fearfully and wonderfully and magnificently made. It's about understanding who we are and how we're created. And that's what my book is all about, helping you to understand the transition. In my book, I go through how they used to think about menopause in ancient times. And it wasn't until in the 1500s with Hippocrates, who is the father of medicine, they began to see menopause. And this is before menopause was called menopause. They thought something was wrong with a woman's ovary. Then later on in the 16th and 17th century, they used to put women in mental asylums. Then we move on, and their books, I talk about all of this, I give all the history of it. Then they used to say women weren't any good anymore because they couldn't have children. And we wonder why we're dealing with the embarrassment and the taboo. It's a legacy that's been passed down. But I say to women, God is a God of purpose. There is a reason why we are the generation of women that are finally openly speaking about menopause. And I believe that we have to be so responsible about sharing menopause, not just as a bad thing, but about understanding the full truth of it. Thank you for having me. God bless you. And I really hope I've been able to help you.
Okay. Did y'all enjoy yourself this evening? Come on. Did y'all enjoy yourself this evening? Yes. So it isn't just a man thing, a menopause there. They have to go through this with us. So you know what we say here at Hillview. It was called a what? A woman-a-pause. Because we have to stop and pause and think what all is going on with us. So at this time, we'll ask, anybody have any question for Sister Patrice before? Oh, let's start to the front and we'll work our way down.
My question is, at Hillview we did a Daniel fast earlier in the year, and when I did the Daniel fast, I had no symptoms, and like for months after. But, however, the appetite kicked back in. So that's what I want to ask, if like meat and dairy products, if it triggers menopausal symptoms.
Yes, okay. I too, when I used to have the hot flashes. Now, I like organic chicken. When we went on my church went on a 2-week fast, but I went on 2 weeks before that because I needed to go before God with some stuff and I needed direction and all of that. And so I did my 2 weeks and then the church began, so I did a whole month. I forgot I had hot flashes. When I came off the fast, and of course you break it gently, I went and I got an organic chicken from the food store. And all of a sudden I started having a hot flash. And I was like, jeez, I forgot. I said, where does hot flash come from? And I was trying to figure out why I'm having hot flashes. And then I was like, okay, but the only thing I ate was the chicken I introduced. Listen, but I'm like, but Jesus said organic. But it's like, I had to remind myself, a hormone is a hormone is a hormone. Chicken have hormones there. I think it's 10 times more than us. Oh, I'm sorry. Chicken has, I think theirs is 10 times more than us. So when you put that hormone in your body, a hormone is a chemical messenger that sends messages throughout the body. A hormone is a hormone. It's going to do what God designed it to do. So even if it have to, what science calls endocrine disruptor, they end up being endocrine disruptors. It disrupts our hormonal signaling. And I remember, I was like, okay. And I ate more chicken. And then it happened again. I was like, I can't believe this chicken. So what I had to do was I stopped. I took the chicken back out because I just come off the fast. And I did it just a couple of days to clean up myself. And I went back to normal. I was like, chicken. I tried it again. And it happened. And I do a lot of things like that. I use myself to try. And our food, even though I learned it, there's nothing like when it happens to you. Our food causes so many triggers in the body. When we clean our house, this body knows just what it have to do. There's an internal intelligence system that mighty God has created with this body. It knows how to heal. It knows how to restore. It knows how to balance, create the environment, and it's going to do what it have to do. So yeah, our eating does it.
Good evening, everybody. Patrice, it's so nice to see that you're making your rounds here. Patrice is my schoolmate, and so she did a session for us before. I want to say that even though this is a woman-a-pause session, sometimes we have to bring in our husbands on some of these sessions.
That's
because
what
sometimes
I do, yes, for marriage ministries.
Right.
Because the men need to hear this.
Right, because some of us could leave from here tonight, go home to our husband and try to explain this, and he's still understanding what my body going through.
Yes,
You understand?
I agree.
And so the second point is when you talked about the heart palpitations, the first time I was going through perimenopause, I experienced a severe one that I really thought that I was going through. I was having a heart attack for true. And I got scared, and I decided I'm going home. Let me try her get home. And I take a chance and went in my car, and you going through this. And for some reason that week, I don't know, the Lord just had it that Patrice was on the radio that day. And she started talking about all of these heart palpitations. She said, let me call Patrice and ask her, what am I going through? And when she told me all I needed to eat was a banana. Patrice, I must say that banana helped me so much with heart palpitation. Mm-hmm. And I haven't had it severely like that. I think the first time within the year, I think I had a bad one earlier this week. And for some reason, it still didn't come to me. Mm-hmm. And then it hit me later on that afternoon that it was getting so bad. I said, doggone it, Patrice, tell me, banana, go back for your banana. Because I used to travel with bananas in my bag.
He used to laugh at me.
Because those heart palpitations, they really just give you a bad feeling sometimes. But the bananas is a miracle fruit.
Yeah, it works. Potassium.
Yes.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So I have a statement and a question. So there are some women in their 30s and 40s who are surgically right. And so I was one of those persons. And I remember having a conversation with my doctor. Obviously, I'm thinking, okay, now, where's the support group or whatever? So I said, okay, Dr. Carey, what should I do now? He said, just go home. I said, what do you mean? I said, there's no support group. There's nothing. And so my thing is, I think our medical professionals need, I don't know what it is, but they need training. I don't know if it's not a part of their protocol or whatever, but it doesn't seem to be important. It doesn't seem to be something that they express to persons who would have been surgically placed in this situation. So you're just kind of like learning as you go. And then sometimes there are persons, our parents, our mothers, not very comfortable, maybe even talking about whatever, and so you get the information. And I think the thing is, as women, we need to be more open with our experiences. So when I say to someone, I have fibroids, that was a part of, oh my God, you're talking about that? Yeah, I'm talking about it because I'm a woman. And if it can help someone else, then why not? And so I just want to say I applaud Sister Davincia for creating this space, because I think it is something that is being embraced, but it needs a wide, yes. So that's what I wanted to say. Then the second thing was, we have persons like Oprah and Michelle Obama who are prolific figures, and some of us may consider them our mentors. What is your take on HRT? Because I know they are proponents of it. And I just wanted to know, what is it that, and if you propose that, what is the journey for HRT?
Okay. Again, point blank, HRT, no. I've had clients, I could tell you stories, who after, the doctors had to take them off, they have some lifelong issues, etc. When you understand, and what has happened, again, let me go back with our doctors. Our doctors were not trained in menopause. And that's why I certified, because after 8 doctors and women were coming to me, it's like, something's not right about this. But I will say, even now in our country, because last year, a group of doctors, they had me speak, I did a seminar, a webinar, and there were doctors, and I respected the fact that they were willing to hear, and interns. And in fact, on the 18th of October, we are having something, and it's going to be on a Saturday though, from 10 to 1. We're having what's called a national conversation on menopause, and we are going to have a number of experts. Doctors Hospital has agreed to join in with us. or as a part sponsor, but we have women now ready to tell their story. One lady is going to tell a story. She tried to commit suicide. That was a day. I'll never forget that. I had 2 women in one day, and it was a heavy day. She, because of the mental and emotional aspect of menopause, she tried to commit suicide. But here's what happened. She sent a note to kids here in Nassau. One was there. They called him right away. He found her and he wrestled her down, about to jump off the balcony. Listen here. Whew, that was a day. Then that night, I had to deal with someone around 9 that night. She was like, I can't take it anymore. She was dealing with the mental aspect of it. She left that very next day. She told her boss, if I have to get fired, I'm gone. She couldn't handle it anymore emotionally. She said, because she was trying, she's one of those responsible for an organization, etc. She said she would have to go in a dark room and close. Everybody was saying, so what's wrong with you and whatnot, trying to be strong. That day she had it up to here. I saw her 9 o'clock that night, but that day she talked to her boss. My mental health, I gotta go. The next morning, she was on a flight to Canada, and she stayed in Canada for 1 month to catch herself. And I'm talking, when I say health care and self-care, we keep pushing ourselves and don't understand what's going on. Caring for yourself, ladies, is important. I deliberately broke it down to help you to understand your brain, what part of your brain is being impacted, why it's being impacted. You're not going crazy, you're not broken, but brain health is also important, okay? But and you're right. Also, I have a group, Surviving and Thriving Through Menopause. We are looking for persons willing to join. The session next on October 18th is free of charge for women. And our goal is just to get the information out there. Too many stories, too many hidden stuff, too many destroyed marriages, too many women walking off their jobs because of menopause. I knew that was a thing in the UK. I didn't even know that was a thing here in the Bahamas. I had two women. One woman told me, she said, I took a lunch hour, never went back. She said, I just couldn't handle it no more. One lady, at least for her, she retired early. She said, they don't know why, but this is a reality we're dealing with.
Good night. Just want to know, what is the loss of libido? What it is? Libido.
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 Okay. The loss of sexual drive. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of women lose their drive, and it's because that our testosterone and estrogen work together to give a woman her sexual drive. And when that takes a plunge, she ain't want to see nobody.
Good night. I'd like to ask about ashwagandha. Is that a tea, and does it have a negative effect on the brain, on anyone?
No, not a tea. One of the things I tell persons is that what I carry, what we carry, and it's because I understand dosages and the amount the body needs. One lady just asked me, what if I take a pill that has ashwagandha, maca, and collagen? I'm like, no. That's why so many women say things don't work. I have the pure powdered stuff, and you take a full tablespoon. That's the requirement, and you take that for 3 months, you'll get your results. A lot of times there's a lot of stuff also that has fillers in it. But I would not recommend a pill that has a little bit in it. No, you need the amount of ashwagandha. No, it does not hurt anybody's brain. I've seen women. I have a client in the US. She literally, her daughter called me, said, does menopause cause manic? She just went off. Her mother stopped going to work. She stopped life completely, doing nothing. And at one point, she told her to call me. And she found my phone number in her phone. Families were, and she originally has family in Grand Bahama in the US. all the family was coming over to where they were in Florida because she just stopped. Banker, etc. So I say that to say I've seen so many, even extreme cases I've worked with, normalize.
And it contains no caffeine?
Ashwagandha itself, not to my knowledge, because it's a root powder. It's a plant root powder.
Okay, and if somebody is on medication, do you suggest they take it or get advice from the doctor first?
Ashwagandha is a natural plant. Let me tell you something. I'm going to be honest with you. Can I be honest? Yes. We've been sold stories in the pharmaceutical industry, and that you are responsible for your health, your good health. And I believe that the things that God has given us works. But we believe in so much other talk over what God has said. Now, of course, there is wisdom to be used, because in our society, somebody tell you take this, everybody take this, and they don't realize that, okay, you know, certain things don't work. Like with my clients, that's why I made it known, if you have breast cancer, you don't take maca, you take the chaga and the gano. So there are certain things that, you know, that has to be. But for a normal, I have all over, and it has worked tremendously. It works tremendously with our bodies with no side effect I have seen, and research hasn't showed anything, because even in my classes when we were taught there, you know, we were able to look at from the natural, the hormone replacement, and there's also bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Now, for some women, they want their relief right away, and they don't want to wait as long. I would say the first thing to do is natural. If you have an issue and you really can't take it, then bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, which is taken from soy. They use it from soy. But we don't have anybody here, and I was trying to connect with somebody, but this physician didn't seem to have a good reputation. I tried it with somebody and it wasn't good, and I'm looking for that, to have somebody here who can offer the Bahamian women bioidentical hormone replacement, which is safe. It's not synthetic hormones. So yeah, I forgot to say that too. There are 3 options: natural, bioidentical, and hormone, HRT, hormone replacement, which is a synthetic one.
Okay, good night. I just want to share a short testimony that happened to me. I was going through menopause, but I didn't know nothing about menopause. And I used to have pain in my shoulder, pain in my knees and everything, and I couldn't figure out what was happening to me. So I went to bed one day and I prayed, I said, God, show me something what to do. I need to know what to do with this, because I didn't know what it was. And then my 2 knees was swelled right up with fluid. And I said, when I went to bed at night, as I closed my eye and went to sleep, the Lord told me ginger and garlic. So I said, I wake up out of my sleep and I said, the Lord just tell me ginger and garlic, so how to use it? So, but I just get up out of my bed, I blend the ginger and garlic and some water, and I drink the water, and I put the ginger and garlic on my knee, wrap it up with a towel, and I went to bed. When I wake up the next morning, I had 3 holes in my knee. All the fluid run out my knee, and I couldn't walk, because I couldn't walk. And all the fluid ran out, and I couldn't walk. I never had that problem anymore from 2015 to now.
Our God is an awesome God.
Yeah, and then it would just happen to me. I used to sweat a lot, and I just couldn't figure out what to do. And I said, God, show me what to do. And then my pressure went up, my sugar level went up, my cholesterol went up. And I said, Lord, show me what to do. The Lord told me, hibiscus, moringa, and soursop leaf. And I was boiling them from there. Anytime and now, my pressure, everything going normal. Yeah. When I went back to the doctor, he couldn't figure out what he said, what happened? So I told him what I did. I said, the Lord gave me this and I use it. So he said, you continue using that. Yeah. So that's what I continued. And I had the weak bowel, what you call that, as bladder, the weak bladder, and that healed. because of me taking those same things. So, what somebody said this morning, knowledge is power. But when you don't know knowledge, I tell them, go to God, ask God. And he promised that he'll take care of you in whatever situation you're going to do, and he'll bring it to your mind what to do.
Amen. What an awesome God. Yeah, he deserves a round of applause because he loves us.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi. I would like to know, to what extent does menopause, along with hysterectomy, affect somebody who has already been diagnosed with bone degenerative disease? And what recommendations do you have?
Okay. When we, again, like I said, because the bones have been supported all our life, literally, here's what happens why your bones stay so good and then it is impacted. Estrogen causes the old bone to be removed and bone to come back. That reconstruction that naturally happens with us, that's what happens all your life because of the function. That's the part of the function that estradiol helps to keep that process. Moving old bone, new bone, regenerating bone. That happens because of the help of estradiol. When estradiol is not there, you don't have that support anymore. Now, also, when a woman's testosterone levels are low, that is what happens as well. Because when menopausal women have, the hair is an issue, they're dealing with fatigue. I've had to send a number of women to go get a bone density test. There is help. Now, this happened with a gentleman, and I can't remember the name of it, but I have it home. There's a gentleman who was once limping. He was limping. And, they told him there was no hope, blah, blah, blah. And there was something I put him on, and I can't remember it. But I can give you my number, and I can get it for you because I had sent him, Simonet, Dr. Patty Simonet would carry it. And to walking, and then one point he just had a little limp. I haven't seen him for a while, but the body could heal and be restored. The body can be healed and be restored. And you said if you have had hysterectomy, early menopause, yeah, still can be restored. A lot of times, again, even with the early menopause, if it's medical menopause or surgical menopause, that's been induced. What I tell women is that you can't interrupt something natural that God has put in place and not expect something to happen. And case in point, here's what I mean. I lived in Grand Bahama, and there's an area, now you notice Grand Bahama has so much floods and whatnot where the airport is, and it's because they dug up all the coral reefs, etc. And from then they did that, Grand Bahama was having problems. And it's the same thing with our body. If God set up something naturally, this is a buffer. If you move it, then you expect, just like the pelvic floor, if it collapses, it has responsibility, so the other things are impacted. And that's what happens with medical and surgical menopause. And just like the sister said here, there's not support. But I want to say we now have Surviving and Thriving Through Menopause. And again, we're looking for women to join so that we could help. One of the things we're going to do is have chapters all over for women to be supported through their journey. Women just supporting each other. But yes, there is help, and I'm going to try and get that to you. Okay?
What is more effective, the ripe banana or the boiled banana?
It was ripe bananas I ate.
Okay. Another question.
Ripe bananas. Now again, see, I'm not sure about boiled, but I could tell you 100%. Them ripe bananas, I sit on that bed in the nighttime.
Yep.
Listen, they act like drugs. I can swear by that.
What time of the day would you use the marker?
I always tell women in the morning, do it in the morning, put in a green smoothie or a drink, and the maca and the ashwagandha, because again, you need to function throughout the day. And you're gonna find, oh, I'm not having hot flashes, or I can think clearly. Women keep telling me that. You know, they can focus better, etc. But I usually say in the morning, take it with a green smoothie. Now, to be truthful, sometimes if I forget, if I work in sometimes in the night before I go to bed, because I know I need to take it, you know, I would take it. You know, in those seasons I would need it. But I would say in the morning and get it done away with.
Do you sell that?
Pardon?
Do you sell it?
Yes, we have them in the back, the products in the back. And for those that we do not have, please, if you want the maca, if you want the ashwagandha, the collagen, please give us your name and you can pay for it. We're going to deliver it now. I wanted to speak to you to see how we could do it, if we can leave it here or we could just deliver to each person. But the weather has caused shipment delay.
It seems as though that menopause with the decreasing estrogen and high cholesterol go hand in hand. So once you would get those, the estrogen replaced with the maca, then could it be said then that your cholesterol could be regulated?
It can, but it's not going to automatic. It takes work. Menopause, this stage in our lives, takes so much self-care. Our bodies change. Even enzyme in the gut, you don't produce those enzymes like you used to before. The collagen is gone. Just a lot of things are very different about the body. So self-care has to be intentional. To the 100th degree, it has to be. Now with your cholesterol, movement and nutrition is big for menopausal women, and not just any movement. Strength training, HIIT is good for us. Not too much cardio because you cause your body to go into stress. I personally can tell you about that. I was going through a lot, and when I came here to Nassau, Dr. Gay had said he didn't want me to run. I'm like, I parked my car by where the hotel is, Bay Street now, with the Chinese hotel, the Point, with the beach there. Run from there to Goodman's Bay and back. By that time, stress gone. That used to be my medicine. And he said to me, I don't want you to do that. Well, one morning, I went running on the beach early in the morning. Caused my body it was too stressful, so my body started to release a lot of cortisol. And I started having severe heart palpitations. I was so afraid. I was the only one on the beach, and I was like, God, please don't let me die. You know? No one was around because I'd run out so far. No one was around to help me. And let me tell you something. When I went back to Dr. Gay, I ain't gonna do that no more. And I share that to show you that we can cause, that's why I tell you stress is so bad for the body, whether it's physically, emotionally, environmentally, mentally, it doesn't matter. The adrenal glands are going to release cortisol. So if you do any cardio, it has to be like 15 minutes the most, but HIIT and strength training. So that's how you help your body to get under control. That's why we have so many women. The heart disease is the #1 mortality rate for women. Our hearts are impacted, and so we have to, even if you think you're healthy, just going through the transition because of the role of the estrogen means you need to take so much better care of your heart, even than you've done before.
Good evening.
Hi.
I want to say thank you so much for the information in which you shared. Looking at the menopause checklist and all of those symptoms, at age 31, I was recommended to have a hysterectomy. I went to several doctors just for a second opinion, and apparently my uterine lining was very, very thin. So, of course, at 31, and then my periods started to be somewhat sporadic, like I'll see it 3 months and then it stopped. Now at age 51, I have not seen a period in 9 years. So is it that I am at the tail end of menopause? Because now I'm seeing a new symptom, which is not only the irritability, but also brain fog. I've lost two of my purses, replaced 3 cell phones. So where am I in this journey?
Okay. Based on average of what goes on in our society, because like I said, for every, it's so interesting, the various cultures, and I have it in my book, because everybody deals with a different set of symptoms. You would be coming down to the end of perimenopause, because like I said, on average, I'm finding between 51 to 54 is where the women in the Bahamas tend to end. Now, we have some later, some before, but the average is between 51 and 54. And it's hard to tell again because of what has happened to you with the hysterectomy, etc. And it shows you that the body will still do what it naturally supposed. Oh, you kept it. Good. Good. And no period, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so that means you went into menopause early. You in postmenopause then. Okay, because if you've, it just stopped naturally then, not because of hysterectomy. Okay, then if your body stopped and that was before 40 or after. Oh, okay, so you went early, you had early menopause, but you were still in the, that range. And again, sometimes because of genetic that happens. And again, average research shows that we have about 33 years worth of eggs. And for some, it could be a less. And like I said, for some, could even be more. Like I said, you know, we had a 65-year-old still bleeding because she still had more eggs. Yeah.
Thank you. We can continue to take more questions, but we just want you to know that we have prepared your menopause-friendly meals. They are packaged, so it's just a matter of you picking up your package if you have to leave and get, you know. We went through a lot of work for you, so we don't want the food to waste. So we have bean soup, we have pumpkin soup, we have tofu, roasted veggies. Oh, we have a vegan carob cake, no sugar. We have roasted veggies. Oh, we have veggie mac. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. So this is a macaroni, like how we know mac and cheese. Well, it's made out of cashews. The cheese is cashews instead of. So we have and a couple of more good stuff. So y'all have to have it, man. You have to have it. So just take a step at the back when you're done, and everything is already ready. So just take a package and leave. And before we continue, let me just say thank you to Patrice Lockhart. What did she? How was this? Wasn't it excellent? I mean, I was watching you fascinated because the information, I mean, first of all, you were just filled with information, filled with knowledge, and a lot of the information was new to me as well, and I thought I knew a lot of stuff. So thank you very much, Patrice. Our Women's Ministries team will definitely partner with you again into bringing something similar back to Hillview, and we look forward to that. Thank you very much for being so gracious and so kind and accommodating us. And I'd like to thank all of you who took your time out to come here and, you know, commit yourself to getting better. Thank you very much. We have, like I said, when we started, we have a dynamic team of ladies that work in the Ministries Council. Most of them were in the kitchen, and they have been, just putting everything together and working so hard to make sure that this function was a success, and we'd like to thank them. I'll thank them later. But I heard my name being called. They're just the wind beneath my wings. So I think that thanks go to them. Demisi and Fabia here, who's a part of the team, thank you very much. But thank you, everybody. If you want to stay, make sure and visit the table at the back. And if you want to stay and ask more questions, if Patrice is willing to accommodate it, then that's fine. Okay? Oh, yes. Okay, before you leave, let's pray, please. Let's pray. Thank you.
I'm the youngest one here, and I feel like I have all the symptoms. But we can talk later. Let us bow our heads as we pray. Dear kind Heavenly Father, we thank you for the knowledge that was blessed upon us. Lord, let us take this information and let us seek more understanding where we need to go and ask the right questions to the right persons. Lord, thank you for the persons putting together with the food. Bless their hands. May the food do our bodies good. May we be on the right track to regulate this temple that you've given to us so that we can be the hands and feet of you, taking your word all over and not be ashamed. So we ask you for all these things, and we thank you for what you did, what you're doing, and what you're about to do in our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Everyone, have a good night.